Hello and welcome. We are going to be starting a weekly vlog today. Well, somewhat. It is Tuesday, full disclosure. Was this supposed to start yesterday? Yes. But then I woke up and I had no desire to be perceived. And so I chose joy. And here we are. My name is Amy. I am so stoked to have you here. And while I have you, we have movement on the channel. We have movement. And I am so excited. We have a whole 30 subscribers. 30. And I know objectively that is a very small number, and I know in the grand scheme of things, it is a very small number. But I am so excited and so grateful. 30 people decided that I was cool. And that is such an accomplishment. I don't even have 30 friends. So thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have you here. Thank you for sticking around through all of the unpredictable, inconsistent upload schedules. I'm flawed. That's a whole classroom of people. That's insane. That's crazy to me. Anyway, this week we have a couple of things on the docket. So number one, I need to film a Q2 wrap-up. I was also supposed to do that yesterday. Yesterday was kind of the day all the things were supposed to happen and none of them happened. Classic. Today we have an appointment. We have an appointment at 12, which I feel is so rude. I hate 12 o'clock appointments because my brain works in that way where it's before 12 is when I like working. That's my most productive time in the day. And with the appointment at 12, I feel like I can't actually sink my teeth into anything because I'm going to lose track of time and then I'm going to have to book the appointment again. And it was a really hard appointment to get. So it's just a whole thing. And then after 12 is afternoon time. And by that time, the day is done. I've lost my day. So it is going to be a day of combating those crazies. And we'll see what happens there. I hope that because I've said I'm going to film the Q2 wrap-up, that I actually will. That would be grand. I have a couple of reservations about filming that video, if we're being honest, and it is twofold. Number one, it was not a great quarter for me, and I don't particularly feel like revisiting it. And number two, they are very practical videos, but they are my least favorite videos to film. Just because I feel like I've done all of that content already and it feels like doing double the work. You know what I mean? Does that sound crazy? I hope that doesn't sound crazy. Let me know if you know what I mean. So that is the plan for today. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and I have a Stardew date with my friend. I'm so excited. We are playing Stardew once a week, and it has been such a joy. And I love spending time with her, and I love playing games with her. I'm not a gamer girl TM, but I've dated gamer boys in the past, and it's just been so nice to be actually playing the thing and not just watching someone else play the thing. If you know, you know. So I am super jazzed for that. And then on Thursday, I have a psychologist's appointment, which is very exciting. I love that woman. She is great. And then on Friday, John and I have a date. It is uncertain and unconfirmed at this point in time. We normally do Thursday dates, but this Thursday he has a work thing, and so it's just not going to work. So we're going to try and slot it in somewhere else throughout the week, and then I have a date with a friend on Saturday, a different friend, and then I have my grandmother's birthday on Sunday. So it feels like there's a lot going on, and throughout it all, I would like to get some work done. That would be great. But enough of my woes. Let me tell you what I'm reading. I picked up this audiobook. It's called Grand Finales, The Creative Longevity of Women Artists. And it has been such a joy. It is about women, as the title suggests, very much later on in their lives and how creativity has sustained them in various different ways and forms. It's broken down into 3 sections. So we have lovers, we have mavericks, and we have sages, and we cover people like George Eliot, Colette, Mary Lou Williams, and I discovered this great artist. Her name is Louise Bourgeois, and she is a sculptor, and she has made some wacky stuff. She was in the maverick section, which was by far my favorite section, because it is just about a whole bunch of strange old ladies, and I am having the time of my life. I am really enjoying the writing style. I'm really enjoying in the artist sections the breakdown and analyses of the artworks. I think it would help to read this in physical format, because I'm sure there are visual aids that come with the book that you obviously don't get in the audiobook. But nonetheless, I'm having a great time. I love me a little nonfiction. It has been fantastic for cleaning the house and doing my makeup and all of those dead hours, as Dan F. Swinnon would say. And it helps so much. It helps my mood, and I feel like I'm reading again, which is such a win. But I had this idea this morning while I was listening to this book. I have another book, which is a short story collection called Furies. Furies is a celebration of 50 years of Virago, a feminist publisher of outstanding books for all readers. The blurb says, dragon, tigress, she-devil. For centuries past and all across the world, there are words that have defined and decried us. Words that raise our hackles, fire up our blood, words that tell a story. In this blazing cauldron of a book, 15 best-selling, award-winning writers have taken up their pens and reclaimed these words, creating an entertaining and irresistible collection of feminist tales for our time. So the cover looks like this, which I think is stunning. The first story is by Margaret Atwood, and it is my favorite short story of hers yet that I have read, and I am very excited to read this in tandem with grand finales, because I think it would be a nice little juxtaposition. So I think that is going to be the move. But I have also started reading Justine by Lawrence Durrell. This is book 1 of the Alexandria Quartet, and I'm not very far into it. I am sub 100 pages, but I am really enjoying his writing so far. Just a note on this. As far as I understand, the Alexandria Quartet is a collection of 4 books that were published separately that should actually be read as one work of fiction. So that in itself really intrigues me. As far as I understand, the 4 different perspectives kind of relate the same tale but from different points of view, which I think is super interesting. Just a note, if you are going to pick this up, I will read you a sample of the writing. I think it's beautiful. I think it's lyrical. However, this was published in 1957, and so if you know that you are not a fan of the kind of language used, although I will say it is not egregious, it does crop up very seldomly, but if that is something that is going to upset you, please know that it does appear in this book. Another thing is maybe just check content warnings, because there have been some topics I've been very surprised to find in a book published in 1957, so please just do take care of yourself. But I am happy to report that I am really enjoying the writing, and I'd love to read you a piece just so that you can get a taste of the flavors. I have found the piece I wanted to read you. Nassim knew and accepted her in a way that is impossible to explain to someone for whom love is still entangled with the qualities of possessiveness. Once, much later, he told me, what was I to do? Justine was too strong for me in too many ways. I could only outlove her. That was my long suit. I went ahead of her. I anticipated her every lapse. She found me already there at every point where she fell down, ready to help her to her feet and show that it did not matter. After all, she comprised the least part of me, my reputation. Guys! I love the writing so much. He is also really, really good, not only at character work. If you'd like a character study, I think you will love this book, again, given the caveats I mentioned before. But he is also really good at describing the atmospheres of a place. He's really good at describing settings. As far as I understand, again, I'm not very far in, but I do think all 4 books are set in the same place, Alexandria, the city. And he describes the city with so much love and so much care, and it really feels as if I am there. He is really transportive in his writing, which is something that I admire. Let me find you a piece where he has written about a scene or a setting or the city, just to explain what I mean. Okay, I found a piece, and it's about the ocean, so ocean lovers, listen up. In the great quietness of these winter evenings, there is one clock. The sea. Empty cadences of sea water licking its own wounds, sulking along the mouths of the delta, boiling upon those deserted beaches. Empty. Forever empty. Under the gulls, white scribble on the grey, munched by clouds. If there are ever sails here, they die before the land shadows them. Wreckage washed up on the pediments of islands, the last crust, eroded by the weather, stuck in the blue maw of water. Gone. It's so beautiful. I even made a collage of one of the quotes. The quote is in the. I'm really trying to memorize quotes because I think that's such a cool thing to do. The quote is. Oh no, I can't remember it. Hold on. It's one line. It's one line. My memory is so bad. The quote is: "In the midst of winter, you can feel the inventions of spring." And I think that is such a beautiful sentiment. And we are currently in winter where I live. So I made a little collage and I think it's so cool. I am just so happy. It is very seldom that you find a book that makes you want to create something, and this book really does that for me. So I think that is all I needed to update you on. That is all I have for you for the time being. And I will check in with you once there has been a movement on any of the fronts we mentioned before. Hello, friends. We are back from our appointment, all in one piece, and we are grabbing some floor time before I move on to my other tasks. It is 3 o'clock. It is 3 p.m., which I feel like is too late to start something new. Something new that's going to take a really long time. So I'm thinking maybe we shift the Q2 wrap-up video to tomorrow. Maybe we push through and do it today. Who knows? Only future Amy will be able to tell you what we decided on. But the reason we are so late is because we had some stops on the way. I went to this appointment with my father-in-law. He was kind enough to take me. And so on the way back, he asked if we could go do some shopping for him, and we did. And I happened to very unexpectedly come across a second-hand bookshop, and I was looking for some Adrian Tchaikovsky because John is reading Adrian Tchaikovsky right now and really enjoying his books. They had none, but I did find something for myself. So what I found is this. It is a beautiful, like, vintage Faber and Faber edition. It is Monsieur by Lawrence Durrell, and this is another one of his series. So I'm not entirely sure if this man has ever written a standalone book in his life, because I feel like at this point I have been led astray by Mr. Durrell on more than one occasion. So in the first instance of the Alexandria Quartet, I picked up Clear, which is the last book in the quartet, and I happened to pick the third book in this series as well. Luckily, the lady at the secondhand shop was nice enough to let me exchange it for the first one. I am not entirely sure what this one's about, I'll be honest with you. It's another one of those things. Beautiful edition, no blurb. So I did some Googling, and according to Goodreads, this is about a series of autistic friends who are separated from one another. They're fighting Nazis and also looking for the Holy Grail. So this to me sounds like a literary Indiana Jones, and I'm kind of hype about that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Either way, I think it is time for me to start doing something remotely productive, otherwise I've just lost the whole day. And I will check in with you a little bit later. Happy Stardew Day to those who celebrate. I have 2 announcements. So, number 1, this seems to be the week where the channel is just doing the things. I finally got over 100 views on my last video. That would be the Cersei reading vlog. If you haven't seen it and you would like to, I will link it up above. I, again, know that this is a very small number comparatively, but this is the best I've ever done. So a round of applause to the entire 30 of you who are here. Thank you so much. And then to celebrate, John and I have decided we are going to go get a coffee and potentially a pastry at a bakery near his office during his lunch hour. And then I thought, the whole day is gone. Lunch is again at 12, rude, but it splits his workday perfectly in half, so we're going to do it. So I have just decided that today is going to be one of those days. Today is going to be a day that we lose, and that's fine. So I think I could take work with to this cafe, but we are celebrating. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take my 2 books. I might take my journal because I haven't done that today. And that is the extent of everything we are taking. So I'm going to prep some work for tomorrow now before I leave. I also need to eat something before I leave, because if you walk into a bakery hungry, it is over for you. And that is what we are going to do. I didn't read any more of Justine last night, but I did read the short story collection Furies. I have read the first two stories. I reread Margaret Atwood's story because it's just so good. She is so funny. And I read the second one. The author escapes me for the time being, but I love an anthology. I love a whole group of people coming together to write a collection of stories because it just gives you a really good idea of who to check out once you've finished reading it, which we love. So, new authors, new stories, having a grand old time. Today is a good day, and I'm excited to share it with you. It has been such a lovely week. It's been so good, to the point where I'm a little suspicious. I'm not entirely sure it should be going so well, but I also don't want to speak any negativity into the universe, just in case it hears me. I managed to have some coffee with John during his lunch. I played some Stardew with my friend. We played a little bit later than we probably should have because it takes me a little bit to wind down, and I know that, and so I should be responsible and be aware of the time. But I was just having a grand old time, so we kept on. The days being 8 minutes long is incredibly deceptive because those 8 minutes add up real quick. So I do need to keep that in mind for when I play it during the work week. Also, another thing is last week was very productive, and I am usually someone who struggles with very productive weeks, not during the productivity, but in the period that comes afterwards. Because in my head, if I have a super productive week and a not so productive week the next week, I feel like a failure. And I know that being productive all the time is physically impossible. It is also the fastest way to burn out. You shouldn't hope for productive week upon productive week upon productive week, if you know what I mean. Like too much of a good thing and all. So I'm a little in awe. Has she grown? Is she maturing? I did finish my long fiction. I finished Grand Finales, The Creative Longevity of Women Artists, and I had a great time. Reading about people who make stuff up until their old age, I have seen my future and it looks bright. So I rated this 5-star on Storygraph. I'm not entirely sure if it was a 5-star. I think it may have been just under a 5-star because 5-star is a feeling, and I'm not entirely sure I got that feeling, although I feel like I had that feeling for a large majority of the book. So maybe it would be unfair to knock it down. And I say knock it down because if you are new here, I don't really like rating books on a scale because the scale means different things to everybody, and I don't feel it's conducive to the reading experience. However, I will rate a 5-star a 5-star, and that, as I said, subjective, is a feeling. A 5-star is a feeling, and I refuse to explain myself. That's just how it works in my head. So it's an arbitrary thing, but if you are curious as to why you haven't heard any ratings, that is why. That is the reason. So maybe I'll go ponder on that. I'll go think on it. I've still got some things on the to-do list. I had my appointment with my psychologist, which was great. I am very eagerly awaiting John's return because I would like to go cycle. I don't think I've spoken about this on the channel before. If you are curious, I am 25. And my 25-year-old ass had no idea how to ride a bicycle until about a week ago. So we bought a bicycle for myself about a month ago, and I have been doing cycling lessons with John, and she's finally pedaling. She's finally moving forwards and not just gliding, but an active part of the action, and it feels really good. I have already whacked myself in the knee with one of the pedals and I have a beautiful bruise to show for it, so I am feeling like a true athlete. And I would very much like to get another cycle in this week. That would be fun. I'm also hoping to play some Stardew with John because he was watching yesterday while my friend and I were playing, and I think he's also keen to play. So hopefully we can make some progress on our little farm. It's called Snake Boot Farm. It is a Toy Story themed farm. We have him, he's Buzz, and I'm Bo, as in Peep. And it's just a wholesome time. I bet you didn't need that update, but the more you know. So I think I need to go attend to some things on my to-do list. Having said that, I think I've had a very social week this week. I don't normally get out and about as much as I have been out and about this week, and the introvert is screaming. She is so tired. She is exhausted, and we have a very socially heavy weekend coming up. So I think that I need to go do stuff that doesn't involve too many other people. You guys don't count, obviously, and John doesn't count, obviously. I have finished some more stories in the short story collection. I read a story by Emma Donoghue, and I loved it. And I am so pleased that I loved it because I have an Emma Donoghue. I think I have Room, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just re-sparked my interest in reading it because I enjoyed her story so much. I also see that there is an Ellie Smith in there, and I love Ellie Smith. I love her short stories, especially. She has this short story collection called Public Library, and it's wacky and it's fun and it's informative. It is a collection of short stories, but in between every short story there is a figure of some sort, be it a public figure, another writer, another creative, who writes on the impact that their public library has had on them. And it's a whole testimony as to why public libraries should be funded. Her short stories are so weird, which is my favorite kind of short story. It has a little bit of magical realism, and it's just fantastic. I have tried lending it out to people before, and nobody else has really enjoyed it, so take my review with a pinch of salt. But if you are a fan of Jen Campbell's The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night, please do give Ellie Smith's short story collection Public Libraries a shot. I think you would like it. And if you know of anything that has a similar flavor to The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night, please let me know down below because I am forever searching for weird short stories. I also made a little bit of progress with Justine. Justine is a classic, and classics take me a lot longer to read than regular fiction. My brain, for some reason, processes classics in a different way to other fiction, and I won't be explaining it. It's just the way it is. And so I have made it to part 2, and I'm still really enjoying the writing style. I will say it is a classic and it reads like a classic, so be warned, if classics are not your thing, it probably won't be your thing. But if you like a classic character study, I still think that this would be something you might be interested in. I think that is the update. I think that's all I have to say for right now. I will come back if anything does develop today. Ideally, nothing will, but if not, I will see you again on Friday. Why, hello there. Happy Friday. I am very glad to have documented this week. It was a really good week. I had a lot of fun. I was watching back the footage and editing today, and I do know that I said we were going to go cycle yesterday. We did not go and cycle yesterday. Instead, we played Stardew. John had a really long day at work. It was freezing outside, and I was a little bit despondent because I had some admin that came up out of nowhere all of a sudden. That was really hard to navigate because it was like very much out of my hands, but still my problem, that kind of admin. And so we decided instead to play Stardew, and our farm is looking so cute. John's learned how to craft some new stuff, and so we have torches now. I don't know how long we've been able to craft torches, but it's one of those things that neither of us really clicked that we needed until we had them, and then we were like, wow, How did we even do Stardew before this? So I know this has been a very Stardew heavy vlog and not a very heavy reading vlog, but it has been the week that it has been, and that is what I decided to do with my time, and I have no regrets. I am still blown away by the support that this channel has received over the past week. Again, I know rookie numbers, but I am a rookie, and so I am thrilled. I'd really like to say thank you to everyone who has liked and commented and subscribed. It really, really helps. It really helps not only in the algorithm sense of the word, but also to know that the stuff that I'm making is resonating with 30 of you. But that is it for this week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.